Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Mark Marquette. We're so glad you're with us today to stay curious. We are going to answer the question, who's in space? We being me and Gary Allgire. Hi, Gary.
Hi again.
Greetings. Gary is a docent twice a week here at the American Space Museum, and I've been calling him on. He, of course, have done some fabulous programs with us, Gary, but thank you for just coming on here impromptu to just share the banter a little bit as we talk about what Earthlings are orbiting the Earth on this March 28th, 2024. And we've had a busy day at the museum because we had a Delta IV that was going to launch, but it got scrubbed.
Yeah, we had a busy day with people coming in for the museum. Yesterday was even more busy. We had 80 people here yesterday.
Yeah.
They came in for to see us at our little town.
What kind of people did you talk to today, Gary?
I talked to some very interesting people. I talked to some people who knew their brother knew Rusty Swiker real well, and I talked to. We had two young men here from Russia. They're going to college up in Philadelphia, and we got to talk to them for quite a bit and compared life in Russia and life in America, and what they thought of us and what we thought of them. That was a side motion for after we had discussed a lot of things.
What was the thumbnail of their opinion of America?
Well, the thing that stuck in my mind was the last thing he said. He says, we were in Philadelphia. They're going to school. He says, as we come south down here, he says, we noticed the difference in the attitude of the American people. He says, you all are more relaxed here in the South than we are up in the North. He says, they're very strung out, and you are just relaxed. And he was amazed, and I'm surprised. He's very astute to pick that up.
Yeah, really, the laid-back senior citizen world here in Florida versus the hectic pace of the Midwest, for sure. Very interesting. Yeah. Well, Gary, you chime in anywhere you want here. We're going to talk about who's orbiting the Earth here. Marty Winkle, my co-producer, of course, is here today. We want to remind everybody that we're going to have Shuttle Fest here in just a week from Saturday at the Hyatt Place in Titusville. Third Shuttle Fest we put together. We're excited about this one. We're going to talk about these 4 astronomy missions, but more of the back scenes with the space workers. And we'll talk to you more about that with our partners. Next week we'll hit it hard. And I'm going to be out of town starting on Wednesday to go to Ohio to see the eclipse of the sun, where it'll probably be cloudy, but I want to be with my 91-year-old mother who started this journey for me. The big bang of my space and everything, astronomy and astronauts, was in Findlay, Ohio. And Mom's 91, and I want to stand beside her even if it's cloudy. It'll get dark.
It'll get dark. Well, not real dark, but it'll get dark.
So,
because I experienced that. The only time I witnessed the eclipse was in Georgia, the last one that came through, and it clouded up just as it was ready to go, pass over, and so it was disappointing, but it's still exciting.
Well, we are going to be closed on Monday after this Easter Sunday, so we won't do any Stay Curious at all on Monday. And Tuesday will be my last day until I come back a week Wednesday. So we are going to plan some guests to do some Stay Curious, and Marty's going to pick out some reruns to do. So everybody loves reruns on TV, so why not rerun one of your programs, Gary, or something else there? But Marty, you were this close to that Delta IV today. Tell us a little bit about the atmosphere and where you were to take this picture.
Well, I can't tell you about the atmosphere because where I was, there's only about 10 of us, and we didn't even talk to each other. Everybody sat in the car. But I'm just across the, I guess the river.
Banana River?
What is it?
Banana River?
No, it's not the river. It's, I'll just say a body of water.
Right.
On what do you call it?
That's on the Air Force side.
On the Air Force side, thank you.
Well, that's part of the Banana River, I thought. All the way up.
Those cars lined up there in front there along the road.
That whole road, from where you see that first car for about maybe a mile, are just people parking there watching the launch. Now, obviously, they're all either Air Force personnel or KC personnel. There are no civilians out there. But I'm about a mile and a half away from the launch pad. That's my guess. I don't think it's any further than 2 miles.
Okay, well, wow. That would have been beautiful to see that
Oh yes.
that stack go up there. Those they look like farm silos to me.
Yeah.
On
And that is closer than anything you could get to during the Apollo or shuttle program. You couldn't get closer than 3 miles.
3 miles.
Yeah, a little over 3.
Well, they're going to try and do it again tomorrow at 1:30 tomorrow,
Somewhere.
Friday. So
It had a big long window, but it didn't scrub for some reason.
it wasn't the weather, though. You don't think?
I don't think so. There were some dark clouds coming in, but best I could tell was a technical issue. Now it's a 24-hour scrub turnaround, so very well could have been weather mark, but the weather looked pretty good going to the east.
Well, yeah, towards the west, it got sunshiny and everything. 15 minutes after the scrub, so we're looking forward to that. This is the last of the Delta IV rockets.
Yes, it
Gary,
is.
this is a very important rocket to the security of our United States.
Oh, it's DoD payload.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean
okay.
that this is United Launch Alliance, and they mostly have done the NRO office, National Reconnaissance Office, that was a clandestine operation for decades, but just revealed who they were like less than 20 years ago, right?
Yes. It's kind of interesting if you can watch and see which way it's going. We'll tell you a little bit about what the missions is going to be. But that's what I learned when I was doing the DoDs, just watching which way they went.
Okay. Of course, the polar ones are mostly launched from Vandenberg.
Yeah, polar was all except for now. Elon Musk's rockets are going polar out of here. But until him, the last time we launched a polar out of here was in 1968, and I was here at that time. So I was sitting on the banks of the Banana River. It was a night launch, and I did see that one go. The reason why we couldn't do that, or we stopped doing it, is because the Earth rotation, it rotates underneath of us. So if there was an abort and it didn't get into orbit, this first stage could come down in Cuba or in Venezuela, and so they did not want to take that risk of having those land in the South America.
And launching in California, they've got ocean all the way to the
Well, it's
south.
ocean, but the Earth is rotating away from them. So when they launch, it's rotating away from them.
Marty's got a comment.
Yeah, they said heard it was something with a valve.
Okay.
So that's more than we knew.
With the valves?
Yeah. Because I know that they started to pick the count back up. They held at 4, and then they were going through the process.
Yeah,
we,
Marty.
Yeah, we got a text from Steve. Steve's joking.
Yeah.
Another day of not talking very well. Anyway, the Delta launch scrubbed due to an issue with the gaseous nitrogen pipeline, which provides pneumatic pressure to the launch vehicle systems.
Well, that's a common thing that comes up here in a pad that they only use 3 or 4 times a year. You're laughing. Tell them why.
Well, I mean, it's if you look at Elon Musk and what he's doing, he's done very well. He had very few delays until recently. He's been getting more and more delays as the pads get older and the engineers get a little bit more grown up, and they're just having these issues that they didn't ever have at the very, very beginning. And this is very common for the old rockets that we launched, Mercury, Atlas, Gemini rockets, always ended up having delays of one thing or another. If it wasn't them, it was the weather. Our camera sites, we were subject to having not cameras on come up on time in the Apollo program, and so it's something that we live with. I feel sorry for all the people who come down to watch the launches, and it gets delayed. We had people in here today that were just here, stopped by, says we're going to go see the launch. We're going to meet people and go out to a certain point to watch it, and unfortunately, they're out of town, and now guess what? They don't get to see it.
Yeah, and just 50 miles from
Yeah.
Orlando International Airport. I think we're less than that from the
Yes.
airport.
Yeah.
People flying out, this
Yeah.
afternoon. Yeah, it was kind of a. We're spoiled by sitting here
Yeah.
and saying, "Oh well, we'll be here tomorrow to see it." But
Point out, in the days of Apollo and shuttle, we could not launch one vehicle to the next vehicle. It had to have a minimum 3 days stand down while they reconfigured all the cameras and the software. So we could never launch anything back to back except on very rare occasions. We did a couple of times in the Mercury and a Gemini program, but that was the most frustrating to me, is that you could not launch the next day.
Well, we're talking with our museum friend and my friend Gary Allgire here. I pulled him on to share today's show. We're going to look at exactly who is orbiting Earth, okay? What Earthlings are off this precious planet of ours that you see in every astronaut we talk to talks about the thin blue line, Gary. Mike Baker was commenting about that in his talk this week at Kennedy Space Center Visitors Complex, that you get up there and it's just so tenuous what keeps us alive here on this Earth.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is amazing.
We don't have that on Mars, but we have it here on Earth.
That's
we don't
right.
Any other place that we know of near us
right.
have that thin blue line.
And coincidences like the ozone layer shielding us from the harmful radiation and all that stuff. So who is orbiting Earth? Well, here we have it. On March 28, 2024, we have 13 humans orbiting the Earth. 3 Chinese, 4 Russian, 5 American, and 1 Belarus. Belisarian, all right? And what's a Belisarian, you might say out there? That's the country of Belisarus.
Yeah.
Belarus, it must be. Belarus,
yeah.
Which we're going to learn a little bit about this country here in just a minute. But we have 4 crews, 4 separate spaceships took 13 humans orbiting the Earth up there right now. And each one of those spaceships is going to be used to bring them back safely. Now, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We have the Crew Dragon. Well, let's just, we're going to talk about them in depth here for a few minutes. But the Tiangong space station there on the left is the Chinese space station. It's been up for about 3 years now. I believe this is like the 4th or 5th crew they've rotated out in 6-month spans. Shenzhou 17 is the spacecraft that took them up to it. Looks exactly like a knockoff of the Soyuz spacecraft, because it is. And then the Chinese have been up there the longest. Let me get my notes up here. And I'm going to talk about everybody individually here for a few minutes there, but they've been up there 155 days. The longest that we've duration up there is MS-24 with 2 Russians and Laura O'Hara.
I'm blocking one of them.
Yeah, you're blocking the one Russian there. 190. They've been up there 196 days on the International Space Station. So, of course, 6 months is 180 days approximately. So they're going to be coming back soon, and around April 8th, something like around the eclipse day is when they're coming back. I don't know if it's April 8th or not. I know they're undocking April 6th, so that would be kind of exciting. So then the other crew that you have that's been up there is Dragon 8, and Crew Dragon 8's only been up there 25 days. And then we've got the second Soyuz that just docked up there just 6 days ago with 2 women and a very experienced Russian cosmonaut up there. So we'll look at all them here individually here for in a minute. But you've got 7 vehicles docked at the International Space Station. And when this thing was being built, never imagined that.
No, No, we didn't. It's just amazing how over the time we were able to put all this stuff up, and so that they can have that many people docking with it. When I was working for NASA, we never even talked about how many would be able to eventually dock. So it is quite amazing.
Yeah, you've got, of course, 3 crewed spacecraft, the Crew Dragons on the left, the most recent one. Gary's covering up the MS-25 logo there. That's the most recent Russian one to dock. Okay, just the other day, 6 days ago, and then MS-24 is there. The International Space Station doesn't show a lot of pictures of these configurations, but there's got to be some cool pictures out the windows there to see these 2 crewed Soyuz docked. And then they use what looks like a crewed Soyuz, just like the Crew Dragon, but they don't have a reentry heat shield on it. The Progress 85 or 86 and 87 there are strictly cargo ships, and they're being filled up now after they've been emptied with trash and old computers and clothes, dirty clothes. They don't bring all their clothes back. And then you got the Crew Dragon 30 and Cygnus 20. And people may want to know what Cygnus 20 is, Gary. You know what that is.
No, I don't.
Oh, all right.
I really don't.
That's the Northrop Grumman supply
ship
ship that they did launch out of Wallops on the Antares. And this is the first one to launch on a SpaceX Falcon 9. But Northrop Grumman's another. So you had 3 freighters up there, bringing all kinds of, one of the first things they dig into is the fresh vegetables and fruit.
And the spices if they have
them. And spices if they have them too, yeah. You lose your sense of taste in space. And that's one thing, your taste buds are, they say, pretty much worthless up there.
Yeah, they lose a sense of smell and taste, I believe, when you're, this would make a great contest of hide and seek on that space station. You got so many places you can go and hide and enjoy yourself. It's a lot of ins and little turns here and there.
But once they get up there, the first thing they figure out is, okay, who's going to go where if we have an emergency? Where are these 10 people going to go? All right. Well, the Soyuz can only handle 3, and if you see the inside of that, that is like putting 3 people in the front of an old Volkswagen Beetle. All right, little more room in the Crew Dragon there, but we got but you got 2 Soyuz and 1 Crew Dragon that can hold 4 people. I suppose they could, in an emergency, they could put an extra 1 or 2 people in there. I don't think they have couches in there for that, but that's a re-entry problem of weight distribution and all. So this is a graphic that NASA puts up when things change up there. So I'm sure one of these Progress are going to probably peel off and burn up in the atmosphere. But Gary, as a structural engineer, these things do have mass to them. How does the MS-25 docking a week ago upset the balance of this thing, you think?
That's a good question. I don't know. I've never really got involved with the space station dynamics of it. We were more, just working with the spacecraft here on the ground. I know when the shuttle docked with it, that was a large mass comparatively to probably all these other ones added together, these small ones. But that's one of the structural engineers at Houston. That's what they're concerned about, and they control. They do have to watch the reaction control engines to make sure that one doesn't get stuck open here, another one stuck open some other place, and puts it into a twisting or.
Because there are adjustments constantly being made, right?
Yes, yeah.
Do they have gyroscopes on the ISS?
Yes. Oh, yes. They have to have something. They can usually have a spinning wheel or some other motion that they can do is make sure it stays stable. They do have to occasionally give it a boost of energy to keep it up in the orbit. And so if not, they can use one of the vehicles that dock with it. Will maybe accomplish that part of the mission of the putting it in a higher back to its normal orbit.
Well, we'll detail. I'm going to start detailing these astronauts here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary, for that comment. It's the launch that we had just the other day, 6 days ago, in fact, launched these three humans to space. What who we have here is, let me get over. Where's you've got the Novinsky is cosmonaut, very experienced, a very experienced Tracy Caldwell Dyson. They call her TC Dyson. TC's her nickname. She might be familiar to you NASA channel lovers, and she does Station Life. She would do the little segment, Station Life, talking about, doing things in space for the benefit of Earth.
And she's American.
Yeah, she's American. She's very, very animated person when you see her. I'm going to tell you some more things about Tracy here in a little bit that is very unique about this woman. She has waited 12 years to go back to space, okay, after being on an expedition crew 12 years ago. And then we have the rookie there that everyone's talking about, Marina Vasilevskaya. And she was a flight instructor for the Belarus Airlines. And they're joking that she was a flight attendant. I mean, come on, we don't need that kind of nonsense there. She's had to train hard in Navy to sit in that seat as a cosmonaut.
She does, yeah.
But that was, she had a job of that one time. There's going to be some swapping going on as we see this, because she's only going to be up there for about 2 weeks. Novinsky there on the left, let me get how many days. He's 52, making his 4th flight to space, Gary.
Oh, okay.
As a commander of this mission. He's previously logged 531 days in space.
Wow.
So he's kind of the Uber driver, really, for this. Don't know why they didn't pick somebody younger or whatever. Maybe he's still going to be planning on going up there on an expedition. But he's 52 on his 4th flight. He's been up in space last time in 2021. All right. So he has visited the International Space Station, probably on all 3 of his previous flights. He will be bringing back this Marina there from Belarus. He's going to be bringing her back. They're going to April 6th is when they're going to land on the Kazakhstan steppes. So April 6th is when they're planning to land. Him and her, and he's going to bring back, they're going to bring back, who are they bringing back? Oh, they're bringing back Laura O'Hara. Okay. They're bringing back the American Laura O'Hara. So he's taking 2 women up and bringing 2 women back. All right. That will be interesting. And then the other 2 Russians that are up there, that have already been up there 6 months, are going to stay for another 6 months. We'll talk about them here in a second. So there's a little bit of figuring out who's bringing back who, but Tracy Dyson's going to be left up there. These 2 are going to come back with another female who's been up there, an American female, Laura O'Hara, who's been up there for 6 months already. So, Belarus, you might wonder, where in the world's Belarus? And I thought Belarus was like a new country that was cut off of
Belarus, yeah.
Belarus. Okay, thank you. Belarus. Thank you. Belarus. That sounds more familiar now. Officially called the Republic of Belarus. There you see it's a landlocked nation. Russia's on its east side. Ukraine is below it, so they're right in the middle of this Ukraine war. Lithuania, Poland, all these other countries around there. This was a very interesting medieval time area of the world. Different areas claimed it. The Russian Empire, Lithuania, Poland, all called it their own. But much of the borders of Belarus took shape in 1939, before World War II. This country was devastated by the World War II lost a quarter of its population and half of its economic resources.
Wow.
This is a very the Republic was home to a widespread and diverse anti-Nazi insurgent movement that dominated politics well into the 1970s. And Belarus has been transformed from a agriculture to an industrial economy in the past 50 years. So just thought, because I didn't know, I thought you might not know and wonder where this country is. That's their flag. Very interesting flag detail on the left there, like a quilt or something on there.
Yeah.
But you'll catch that on her arm of her country there. So Belarus, yeah. Thank you for straightening my horrible pronunciation up there. Well, let's get back to who is orbiting the Earth, Gary. And boy, don't you love those Crew Dragon emblems they come up with?
Yeah.
They're really into the dragon theme.
Yeah.
Of course. Have you ever seen a dragon? I haven't.
Not was on TV or in the movie theater.
Okay. Now, I love Harry Potter. Those movies I was very
Yeah.
entertained by, and I like the dragon, the flying dragon in that one and so forth. Gary wanted to mention here while we're, let's see, we're going to talk about those guys again. Yeah, we're going to talk about them again. I'll get to that in a second. I was just wondering, Gary, we're thinking about the Russian Soyuz spacecraft. How many times have they flown that spacecraft since 1967?
I saw that number the other day, and I didn't put it down in memory.
This 40-year-old spacecraft basically is what the Apollo command module could have been if we just kept that in production. And I think it would have been smart to do that. It could have been a quick safety net for us for a lot of things. But that's not the case. But anyway, we sell these patches there. You've got several great astronauts that are on the space station now in their 25th day. Okay. Of the 13 humans orbiting the Earth, by the way, 8 of them are rookies. First time they've been in space, 5 are experienced. So we're going to see this a lot. We see a lot of rookie commanders going up now, which is sort of interesting. But here is left to right is Russian Alexander Grebenin. He's a rookie. Then you've got Michael Barrett. Michael Barrett, his third trip to space. He was on a Russian Soyuz, and then a STS-133, the last flight of Discovery. And so he's waited 13 years to go to space.
Wow.
I mean, sitting around waiting.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. He's been an astronaut for 25 years, though. But half of that, he's been sitting around and waiting to go to space again. 237 days and counting for Michael Barrett. He'll be one of our most experienced astronauts when it's all done. And would you believe he's 64 years old, going to turn 65 next month?
It doesn't look at age.
No, but the fact that they want to send a senior citizen to space with all his experience, he's been waiting around 12 years.
Yeah.
I mean, golly, like we were talking earlier, there's some real patience and tenacity, and maybe he just can't find another job, Gary.
Well, no, you don't want another job. You want to be an astronaut, but you would hope he would fly much sooner. But it's just there's quite a few astronauts now, and the rotation is such as it is, and it has a lot to do with some politicking amongst those people, and that's just the way it works out.
It certainly does. A couple notes on this Russian here. He's the flight engineer on Expedition 70-71. They're segueing into Expedition 70. Barrett was up there on Expedition 19 and 20.
Okay.
50 expeditions ago, he was up there. And he's done 2 spacewalks. Janet, we want to talk about we're going to save her for last, Janet Epps on the right-hand side. Very interesting story of her own, Gary. We've got, where am I looking for? Oh, Barrett. I want to say another thing about Barrett. He's the closest thing you can get to the real-life Dr. McCoy.
Oh, really?
Of Star Trek. Yeah, he's a medical doctor.
Okay.
So he's their bones on the space station.
Okay.
And that would make me feel good that you'd have a real medical doctor on board up there.
Well, you hope he's got all the equipment he needs. If something,
Yeah, exactly.
doesn't do
Born
good,
in Vancouver, Washington, but he considers Camus, Washington, to be his hometown, so he's a real state of Washington guy there. And then Matthew Dominic is beside him there. He is he's the commander, a rookie commander, selected by NASA in 2017. He's the pride of Wheat Ridge, Colorado. I'm not sure where Wheat Ridge, Colorado is.
No
Not
idea.
sure about how much wheat's grown in Colorado either.
Well, on the eastern side of Colorado, it's close to Kansas, and there's a lot of wheat grown in Kansas, and I'm sure there's some in Colorado there.
He's a Navy astronaut. Okay. Barrett's nameplate there tells me he's an Air Force man, I believe, is with that silver in there. I'm trying to scan his, I think he was an Air Force flight surgeon. He's also got a bachelor's in zoology, so he could probably work on your pet too, if you're up there. So we got a rookie commander of the Crew A, and where was he born? I'm looking for Matthew. Was born, I told you Wheat Ridge, Colorado. So a Navy test pilot school, of course. So he's done all those aircraft landings, and probably one of those guys. I've done 200 aircraft landings. Which one do you want me to tell you about? Because they all seem to remember a lot.
Oh yeah.
Janet Epps there. Janet Epps has also waited around a long time. This shows you how important it is to be an astronaut. She's a rookie. Okay, she was selected back in the 2010 time frame to go to the International Space Station, and because of some personal problems that were never stated, this could be anything from where a parent ill to her own personal problems. She was swapped out about a month before the launch, and then she was assigned to Boeing Starliner first mission.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Yeah. She'd be still waiting.
Yeah, and so not only was she have a personal problem take her off a 2012 that time frame trip to the International Space Station, Janet Epps was going to go up with Suni Williams, and I think at the time it was Chris Ferguson was going to be the commander of the Boeing Starliner. And we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, but the Starliner's the reason why the Starliner didn't go up last week was there was no room at the end. They didn't have a port for them to dock in, with the Russians wanting to go up on theirs. So yeah, she's waited the Starliner out, and now she finally is in space, and you know that she's loving it up there. She's from Syracuse, New York. And physics in Lemoyne College in Syracuse, and then went to University of Maryland. She worked for the CIA, so you know she's a squeaky clean intelligence lady there. And yep, she was going to be big plans of the Starliner, and then somehow she segued out of that with the commercial crew program here. So thought you'd like to know a little about them. So, who's orbiting Earth? And let's talk a little bit about this crew that went up on the International Space Station, and they've been up there for 196 days. Okay, Konenko there. This is his third space flight. He is one of the most experienced Russians ever. He right now has 932 days in space, and he's going to stay up there another 160 days or so and come back in 6 months from now, basically April, May, June, July, August, September. So he's coming back in late August, I think it is. They'll be coming back. He's going to have over 1,000 days in space. Nick Chubb there in the middle is the one that's coming back with O'Hara. Okay, so it's Chubb is coming back. I get that confused here. No, Chubb's staying up there. Yeah, Kenyenko and Chubb are staying up there for 6 months. It was planned that Chubb was going to come back, and they're bringing O'Hara in that Belisarius.
Well,
How you say it, Mary?
Belarus.
Belarus. Belarus. Okay,
Yeah.
bringing her back there. So they've been up there 196 days. Laura O'Hara was a rookie Marine. She'll have. She's not one of the Artemis astronauts, so she'll be training again for another International Space Station mission, and they will be part of Expedition 71. It's technically 7071 going on there with their logo telling them all the kinds of stuff that they're doing up there in space, from astronomy to macrobiology and all of it needed and necessary to learn how that DNA model up there at the top configures. As we talk a lot about being in space, and now 22 years, 23 years continuous occupation. They don't talk about how humans can procreate, and I'm not talking about sex, Gary. I'm talking about we have a real need to know how the human embryo develops in weightlessness.
Mm-hmm.
I think our feet are useless in space. So if we start making babies in space and on Mars, they need feet on Mars, but how are the adaptations going to go? All right.
It would take a very long time for that to happen.
Over.
Birth, rebirth, and then birth and rebirth again. We used to have tails supposedly.
Yeah.
And over time, since we didn't use them, we lost them. So over time, if we was in space all those years, we could possibly lose some of our things that we use. Like if we don't walk anymore, we may lose our legs or our feet.
And there might be internal organisms that would be smaller and so forth. Yeah. This is a serious thing that has not, if they're doing studies on it, it's people snicker about it. It's like calling, the Uranus, Uranus, people snicker about the planet. I mean, get over that. We need to really understand how human beings are going to birth babies in weightlessness and on the moon and on Mars. And why I bring that up is like, you watch TV a little bit and you see St. Jude's and you see all these wonderful places that are helping the children that they get these afflictions. And could there be some weightlessness bent on people being
is there be an advantage to them being in space to help cure what the ailment is?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
We haven't launched anybody with one of those to see how they adapt.
To see if weightlessness cures some people from muscular dystrophy,
or
there's certainly a lot of things going on Earth that science has alluded. Cancer's one, Alzheimer's. There's a lot of talk about not Alzheimer's, but what was I thinking of? Another affliction that a lot of astronauts have, which Alzheimer's is one.
One time
Marty, I'm thinking not muscular dystrophy, but
dementia. Or are you talking?
No, not so much dementia.
Parkinson's disease.
Parkinson's, yes, yeah. Parkinson's is I've talked with some people. There's more than the normal numbers of people that are astronauts getting Parkinson's. So anyway, that's my pitch for all of this investigation in space is for a reason. And if Elon Musk wants to take 30 people to Mars next decade, we better know how the babies they're going to make there are going to develop.
Well, if they're there long enough, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There. So, just a little side note there that as I'm talking with Gary Allgire here, as we're enjoying a Stay Curious with you today, talking about who's in space, this Expedition 7071. There is Laura O'Hara. She's giving a haircut there to the newbie up there, Commander Dominic, Matthew Dominic up there getting a haircut. Marty, I see a lot of pictures of astronauts getting haircuts in space. I really do. I probably could maybe I'll pull them all off one day. But they obviously have a trimmer there that's got a hose that captures all the hair.
Well, it's on. It's hooked up to a vacuum from you out. It may be dumping overboard. I don't know, but it goes. It's being a vacuum that's pulling it.
But I'd say these military guys, they're used to having their hair trim, and they probably feel a little out of place when it gets a little long.
Yeah.
I need a haircut, but I'll get one. I'll get one next week, so I look sharp for Shuttlefest there,
I just
Gary.
had one this morning.
Oh, well, all
Before
right.
I came in here.
All right. You're like me. I keep contemplating a comb over or not.
No,
I don't think
I
so.
don't have the hair to do
I'll own it there. But Laurel O'Hara there, what a great astronaut experience she's having up there as a rookie. Look at that smile on her face. She's loving it. As this Matthew Dominic up there, been up there 25 days, and O'Hara, she's been up there 196 days. So, all right, the next, what I wanted to bring up is who's this? Well, this is Crew 9. Let me get my notes on Crew 9, and hope I have them laying here, and I do. Oh, shoot, I didn't make a note of Crew 9. Because that's Stephanie Wilson on the left. Oh, I thought I did make a note of them there. There's two rookies on this and two experienced players. And Stephanie Wilson is waiting. She's been waiting for since 2010 to fly again. So she's waiting 14 years. In August, this mission's slated for August. Oh, I don't think I printed it up, Marty, over there on all the crew members here. There's
at least a Russian, a couple Americans.
Sorry, but
Three
that's
Americans and a Russian.
That's Crew 9, and why I wanted to throw that in there is because Dyson and Stephanie Wilson are going to greet each other at the International Space Station 14 years after they met at the International Space Station. So I think that'd be pretty cool. No, I didn't make that note of those crews there. So bad on me. Don't know the other two, but that's a rookie American there that she's going to go up on there. That's Crew 9 Dragon. So we got plenty of time to talk about that.
What the names?
Yeah, you got them, Marty? Crew 9?
Zena Cardman.
Vena,
Zena,
okay.
Cardman. Nick Hague, Hague, Stephanie Wilson, and Alexander Gorbunov. Something like that.
The Russian, yeah. Okay, one Russian's going up there. Again, Stephanie Wilson waiting for more than a decade to go to space, okay? Joan Higginbotham is a Artemis astronaut, but she's not. All right, so there we've kind of segues. By the way, there's only 45 astronauts in the American Astronaut Corps.
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of low, isn't it? They've had a lot more. They had 35 in one class.
Yeah, well, 44 in the Sardines.
Yeah, the Sardines.
Yeah, so, you don't think about that, but that's why we're here on Stay Curious, to put things in context for you. And so you clearly got a group of astronauts that are ISS only, and then you got the Artemis astronauts. Right. Because Stephanie's not part of Artemis, neither is this lady there, Vena. And so we'll look forward to their launch sometime in August is when Crew 9 is going to go up there. Like we said, Crew 8 is now spending their 25th day up there in space. But I thought that was neat, and I got a picture of it here of Stephanie in space with two other women we'll talk about. So who's orbiting the Earth, Tom Usiak? Who's the rest of them up there? Yep, you got the Chinese. Kind of, you have to talk about the Chinese. They're not political. They're not members of our International Space Station, so they're communists, and hate to talk about them too much, but the two guys on the right were rookies, and the guy on the left, Tang, two of them named Tang. Where's my jar of Tang here? This Tang Hongbo, he was the second Chinese in space. This is his third mission, second long duration mission on there. So that is a name, folks, Tang Hongbo.
Okay.
that you could be hearing as walking on the moon, I predict. We know by talking to insiders here at the American Space Museum, and China's made no bones about it, they're preparing to go to the moon with humans.
You know, I did learn something new today talking to these two gentlemen from Russia. Is that the Chinese do not know how to make their engines, so they buy everything that they fly from Russia.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
The Long March rockets don't have Chinese engines on them?
According to them, the guy was pretty knowledgeable of their aerospace and regular just aircraft planes and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he told me that they didn't make their engines.
That's very interesting. Well, they need, and one thing we keep talking about Russia, that we got China up here, is they're broke.
They're broke, and according to them, that their space agency is falling apart. It's a mess over there, according to what these two gentlemen said.
Yeah. Astronaut Mike Baker, who's been in town this week at the Visitors Complex, and we've made a great friendship with him, Marty and I. He was talking at dinner about Russia, that what's going to happen in 2030 with the space agency. He said no Russian space agency person is even wanting to voice their opinions.
They don't
at all, because it could be Siberia for them immediately.
That's right. And these guys said the same thing.
Yeah, because you got an inside group of Russians that are pro-American. Let's face it, they don't have a space station. That's and right. We do. Yeah. And they pretty much keep to their own segment and do their own thing. There's not a lot of cross-pollination, except they all eat together and they all have safety meetings together. Yeah. But you got the Japanese module, the Russian module, the European module, and American module, and they all go off their business and work their own way, according to what Marty and I have learned talking to people who've been up there. Yeah, wow. But they like getting together for dinner. All right, in there. Okay. Just like when the Russian actress went up there. I talked to some people that communicated with them, and they said, like Alex Carl, the ESA astronaut, he said, oh no, they spent all their time in the Russian segment. Yeah. They would get together to eat, and there was once or twice where they were escorted around to see the other modules.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that. I thought that they would learn about everything on there basically from safety.
Well, they do that. Okay. They do that, but there's a safety route that you take, and you don't hang out. Okay. But the cupola is also another place where they all hang out in there. But Alex Carl said they actually have very little time to even hang out and look in the cupola. And we're going to see here to end our program one of the most famous photos ever taken in the cupola, Gary. By this astronaut Tracy Dyson. So we got the Chinese under belt there. There's who's in space right there again to refresh your memory. 13 humans orbiting Earth. When was the most?
I know you have the answer. I think it was 17 or something like that.
17. It could be 18. It was when Peggy Whitson commanded the Axiom 2. Mm-hmm. They came back, and we had 13, 10 on the space station, maybe 11. I think it's 18. I think we had 11 on the space station, 3 tachionauts made 14, and 4 in the cabin made 18. Okay. But that was just briefly. Yeah. 13 has been matched about 7 or 8 times now up there. And Doug Forrest knows that, as he pays attention to space history there in California. Bill Whiting, he loves this. Larry Pushkar's in Venice Beach. All right, Larry, thank you for staying curious today. Steve Jokums, we know that you're watching. And Mark and Tom Usiak are chiming in here. They're in different parts of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I think. Let's see, who else, as we're looking at all the people in space there. Bennett Scarborough in North Carolina. Bennett, thank you for watching. Connie McDaniel. She's lost her nickname Hazel, hasn't she, Marty?
No, she hasn't.
Oh, I thought her new nickname was Crash.
Yeah. She doesn't like that, so...
She doesn't like that. Yeah. Tough. Okay. Carlton Bailey, he had his tail between his legs going off the property at Kennedy Space Center. He was ready to photograph the Falcon, the Delta IV today. His Godzilla tail between his legs, basically. He sent me a picture of him out there. Dave Stangy's watching with his granddaughter. Grandbabies about the age of my granddaughters. And Sula Lackey, thank you, Sula, for finding us and chiming in there to Marty on Stay Curious today, as we hope you're enjoying and learn a little bit about who's in space. I was trying to get a couple more pictures of Mike Barrett there to talk about, as I did talk about him. I wanted to get that to make sure I have that note. Yes, he has flown on a Soyuz spacecraft. Okay, doggone it, what did I do with that? And Russia, the MS-25 that Tracy Caldwell Dyson took up. Let me show a picture of her. There's Tracy. It was the 71st Soyuz to launch to the International Space Station since 2000. Since the year 2000. Okay. What the heck did I do with that? How about this right here? Nope. All right. That's going to drive me nuts looking for that. No. Oh, here it is. There it is. I got it. Okay. Tracy was a mission specialist on Space Shuttle Endeavour on Flight 118 in 2007. And then she was part of the Expedition 23 and 24 crew in 2010. All right. And then she waited 14 years to go to space again. And like I said, she was is very popular on the NASA channel Station Life. Tracy, there she is over here. I got another picture of her here to show. By the way, that MS-25 that she flew up to the International Space Station, the 154th launch of a Soyuz spacecraft.
Wow.
Since 1967.
They got a lot of use out of that.
154, okay, in 40 years, 47 years. 47 years. I was trying to divide that. That's 3 a year, averaging. She was born Tracy Caldwell. She married a gentleman named Dyson. Her nickname's TC. Born in Arcadia, California. Her parents were very big part of her life and her sister's life, and in pushing her into do all that she could be. A University of California graduate. Like I said, her total days in space is 195 at this moment on 3 previous missions. So she has rode twice in a Soyuz spacecraft. But like I said, 14 years apart. I'd love to talk to her about how much it changed, in that more than a decade that she flew one up.
It would be interesting.
Very animated person when you see her. Here's a great shot of her being animated during the this was a year ago out at the Artemis launch, 2 years ago, being November. She's a private pilot. She knows American Sign Language and Russian, very conversational in Russian. She's the lead vocalist for the all astronaut rock band called Max Q.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she can belt out that Annie Hart music and probably hit me with your best shot. Who's that? I'm trying to drift off into another world there. But she served as a guest judge on the space-themed episode of the Food Network show Cupcake Wars.
Oh, okay.
She appeared on episode 3 of Master Chef Junior in season 4. And who loves the movie The Martian? Everybody, right? Everybody loves it. The female actress star Jessica Chastain was advised by Caldwell Dyson of CT, preparing for her role as astronaut and mission commander in the movie The Martian. Hollywood blockbuster in 2015. If you haven't seen it, there was a kind of a Hollywood hunk in that. Who is that guy? Oh yeah, Matt Damon.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
right.
he was in that.
He was the lead.
And she said, Chastain said she was very inspired by Tracy on there. So you know that this lady is having a blast up there in space, because this is probably her last time to go to space. Maybe not. Let's see. She's 55 years old. She'll be 55 in August. Okay. And here she is in space 14 years ago. Okay. This is a picture with 4 women astronauts on the International Space Station. The first time that was ever done. You've got in the upper left-hand corner, there's Dorothy Metcalf Lindbergher. And then JAXA astronaut Nikoi Yamakaze is up there at the top, and she's never gone back to space either, being the first female. No, she wasn't the first JAXA female. She's one of the last ones, actually. And then there's Stephanie Wilson, again, there next to Tracy Dyson there, floating around, having a big time in space up there, and proven that, everything I've read, has pointed that women are better astronauts. Have you read anything about that, Gary?
No, I have not, but it's probably true.
I mean, certainly equal to men.
Oh, yes.
Not all women are diminutive to men. There's large women too that have gone to space. Kathy Sullivan was sort of a 5'8" or 9
Hunky.
gal, and then of course you had Sally Ride. It was just I had a T-shirt, of Sally Ride's shirt that she wore to space like that was size 0. Okay, and it looked like a junior kids
We had a
teenagers.
gentleman here today that actually knew Sally Ride very well. He met her and it became friends. So it's interesting to see the people that come through the museum and who they know, and some of their life experiences that is related to the space program.
It is, Gary, and I could spend half my day just talking to everybody that walks in here.
Yes.
Some days I do, but
Yes.
some days I don't have time for it.
Yeah.
And while you believe it, we went through an hour here, Gary. It
Is that right?
seems
No, it does
like
seem-
hardly enough
Yeah.
talking off the cuff here about who's in space and everybody in space today. And we'll end with this iconic image. Very iconic image. This is Tracy, okay, looking out the cupola 10 years ago, or no, 14 years ago, all right? This was new. This was pretty fresh. This was taken up at STS-131.
That was an exciting thing to put up there because we could finally have some place to go and just observe the Earth as you go pass over it.
It's not Joan Jett, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, but that's a good one. Joan Jett is Hit Me With Your Best Shot is she's a real tiny girl. No, good try there, Bennett Scarborough. Clyde Lewis is with
Pat Benatar?
Clyde Lewis. Pat Benatar. There you go, Gary.
Yeah.
Hit Me With Your Best Shots, Pat Benatar. That's who I was thinking about. And I know Tracy belts those songs out because I heard that one on a YouTube video there. Jim Weatherby's the drummer. Hoot Gibson was lead guitarist for a while in that band. Love to see him play. I don't think they've ever been on the Space Coast, but that's my goal, is to get them at a Shuttle Fest one year as the entertainment.
That would be a fantastic.
But this certainly went viral. This is one of the most publicized photographs ever from the International Space Station. Tracy just chilling out there above the Earth there, and then you see that thin blue line, incredibly thin blue line, that makes us all alive here. So, Marty, anything else to add or subtract from today's show?
Nope, we're good.
I'm good too. And Gary, thank you so much for just saying, would you please? Well, I think people enjoy that. You're such a wealth of knowledge. And how about my shirt? Did you like my shirt today? You want to borrow it sometime?
I might.
I might. I look pretty good in pink.
Yeah.
Don't I there? Well, we thank everybody for watching Stay Curious today. And tomorrow we're supposed to have some Via Space engineers in here. And I need to get on the phone and make sure they're coming. If not, we'll whip up something to keep you entertained a little bit, as we hope that y'all enjoy staying curious. Tell your friends. You have been telling your friends. Gary, we gained 1,000 viewers on YouTube in the last 6 months.
Oh, great.
And so people are spreading the word about it, particularly some of these Facebook shuttle sites and stuff like that. We want them to know that people like you are here talking about things that...
There's very few of us left.
Well, well, that's why we regard you all as national treasures for what you did. And Marty Winkle, my co-producer, is one of them there. So thank you, Marty. And thank you for looking up stuff. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Until tomorrow, I'm Mark Marquette saying we can't wait to see you in our museum to bridge the space between us. Come and see Gary.